So I have to admit, I had already filmed my portion, and I went out and I filmed Jason and I's portion. And then I felt like I didn't do a very good job on my side after what we talked about. And I really want to make sure that you guys get the best update and know exactly what's been going on lately. So if you're watching today, obviously you guys care about Jason's journey and you're wanting to know where we're at in this stage of his dementia. So I wanted to slow down and break it down, how things have been going and where we're at, and let you guys know what the challenges are at this stage. We joke around a lot and we say that sometimes Jason acts anywhere between a 3-year-old and a 15-year-old. Sometimes he's throwing a temper tantrum like a toddler, and sometimes he's just running around like a crazy adolescent boy. But then he has the ability to flip and sit there and talk to you like the old Jason. And this is where it gets difficult with the outside people, the people who aren't here 24/7, seeing how things are going. And so how to explain those things to them is where it gets difficult. One of the challenges as a caregiver is helping Jason to keep his dignity, but at the same time, keep him safe and keep those around him safe. And what I mean by that is something that Jason does is he messes up a lot. He messes up. He doesn't have the ability to follow through and accomplish things that were so simple. He struggles to put batteries in sometimes in a toy. He's struggling to finish a project that he started because he can just only work for like a little bit of time. And then you have to know that whatever he's doing, it's probably not going to be right. It will most likely be messed up. And that's where it gets difficult because you want to encourage him. You want him to feel proud of himself. And so we continue to do that. But you just have to know that it's just like helping a child. They need help along the way a lot of times in order to accomplish something. So here in my home, that's what's going on. Like 24/7. I'm following Jason around and making sure he's doing what he needs to do, making sure he does it right. The littlest things that you think that you could like trust him with, don't trust him with, because that'll be the time that he doesn't, do something right or that type of thing. And little examples, and he'll talk about this, is cooking. He doesn't have much motivation to cook. And then when he does, we've talked about this, you just got to really make sure you're helping him follow the steps and being safe. Is he turning the oven off? Did he turn the burners off? And those type of things, because he'll forget to do all that. Did he let the dog out and never remember to go let the dog back in? And I didn't even know that the dog went out. So now my phone beeps when the door opens. It's just little things that you're like, I got to be aware of everything because, I don't want my dog outside in the 90-degree weather or whatever at the time. And so little things that you just have to constantly keep track of. It's where in his mind, he feels like he can still do things like take care of things. Like if something bugs him, he's going to find a solution and he's going to be able to solve it. But he doesn't have his executive function. So from step A to B to C to D, he can't accomplish it. So a lot of times he'll just skip all the way to step D. And you're going to learn about what he did here in a little bit. And it was pretty funny. Not really funny at the time, but funny afterwards. I'll give you a hint. He called the congressman. So that I feel like I'm running around because I don't want him to look like the crazy dementia guy. Like, hold on, it's okay. It doesn't mean any harm. He just is like concerned about this. And, and you just have to kind of make sure everything's okay. So I'm going to come back to that because all that plays into the struggle of what I'm about to talk about. So Jason did an updated neuropsych evaluation. And in the neuropsych evaluation, like we talked about, I think last time, they believe that he has a behavioral variant frontal lobe dementia, or it could be CTE, it could be both. We may never know, but we obviously know something's wrong as we've continued to progress over the last 7 years. In the testing, Jason unfortunately scored in less than 1%. So not the high 1%, but the low, all the way at the bottom, on having executive function anymore. So that makes life really difficult. And he's not able to execute things. He's lost his logic and reasoning and those type of things. But Jason still scored amazing on his language skills, his vocabulary. And that it can be very common for the type of dementia that he has, that he's maintaining those verbal skills. So when people talk to him, one of the biggest things is they're like, Jason's doing so great. Oh my goodness, I love visiting with him. Well, I love that. I love that he is able to communicate, because there's many people who even have this type of dementia that have it to where it affects their speech. But that's not happening with Jason. It's giving a misconception to others when he, visits with the neighbors, visits with his friends and family, that he seems like he's doing so much better than he actually is. But those of us around him, mainly like me and my daughter, that it's like a dumpster fire in the back of constantly keeping everything under control. And so that's where, and I talk to Jason about this here in a moment, and you'll see, because it's like, you don't want to keep saying to people, like, they're like, he's doing so great. And you don't want to be like, yeah, no, he's not. Because he is doing great in communicating with outside people. And I hope that continues. I pray that continues. He's very proud that he can still speak, and he always talks about his Harvard vocabulary, and I hope it stays that way. So that's been something that's difficult to navigate with this, is what people see on the outside and then what's really happening on the inside. When they're expressing how great Jason's doing, usually I'll just be like, yeah, he's doing well. And then when we've had a really bad night or a bad day, I'm actually cringing inside when they're saying that, but I'm not going to say, I'm not going to sit there and say, no, actually. So that's where that part's difficult. The next biggest thing that's been going on that has been absolutely very difficult is sleep. Jason's sleep-wake window, his whole sleep-wake cycle is so messed up. And this is very common with those with dementia. And then that becomes an issue for them, and it becomes an issue for the caregiver. You guys all know that caring for Jason is such a big part of my life. I feel like right now it is almost my entire life. With all the ups and downs of the dementia, I feel like there's many nights where I need to sleep with one eye open to make sure that he's okay. And honestly, the constant worry has taken such a toll on my sleep. Falling asleep can be hard enough, but staying asleep feels impossible. And I know a lot of you have reached out and have told me that you're dealing with the same thing. One of the things that I learned about this struggle is it's not just about the sleep and all the things that we're going through. It's also happening because of the changes in my body at this time in my life. And I feel like too often I'll bring like these types of concerns to my doctor, and I always feel like I get dismissed. You guys know in the past, I got dismissed for years about my own health concerns and never having a doctor that actually listens to me. And so I do have to say that I am so grateful for connecting with today's sponsor, MIDI Health. And I think that you guys would be also, because it's a virtual care clinic specifically created for women in midlife. Women like me who are juggling so much and they just want to feel like themselves again. The difference with MIDI is their clinicians specialize in perimenopause and menopause. So instead of feeling brushed off like I did sometimes at my previous provider, I actually feel seen, I feel heard by someone who cares and listens about what I'm going through. And more than that, they understand what I'm going through because they specialize in women in their midlife like me. MIDI clinicians understand the challenges of perimenopause and menopause. They understand that it affects things like your sleep, your mood, your energy, even things like your skin and your hair. And there's no hidden costs, there's no membership fees. MIDI bills your insurance just like when you see another healthcare provider. And the results are real because 93% of women are reporting better sleep within 5 months. And I am so excited that I am on my road to that also. Imagine what that rest could do, not just for your mind and body, but for your peace of mind. So if you're like me and you're struggling to keep up while you're not feeling your best, you do not have to do it alone. MIDI will give you the right team, the right data, and the right care. I'm going to leave a link down in the description box or head to trymidi.com/livingwithdementia and you can join the more than 200,000 women who trust MIDI. So be sure to go to trymidi.com/livingwithdementia to schedule your virtual visit. I'll also leave a link for you pinned down in the comments. Big thank you to MIDI Health for sponsoring this video. We truly appreciate it. So what's happening with the sleep for Jason is in the evening, he is becoming super anxious. And it's so sad to see because this man never had anxiety, ever. He was just cool, calm, could do whatever. And to see him so anxious and restless to where he's just literally like sometimes just, and it's just so sad. And to watch him just sit there and tap his hands. And it's just like, oh my goodness. So we are addressing these concerns. So first and foremost, we have upped his anxiety medication. And hopefully that'll kick in here before long. But way before, because none of this has been caused by medication changes, he feels like he can't sleep, but yet he's sleeping all the time. I know that sounds like such a contradiction, but he is anxious in the evening and super restless, and so he feels like he can't fall asleep. But then once he falls asleep, he just sleeps and sleeps and sleeps and sleeps, and then he doesn't want to get up until 12, 1 o'clock the next day. And so he just has these really little wake windows. And so then he gets up and he'll do a little bit of stuff and then he needs to lay down. And then I get him back up and we like eat dinner and then he lays back down. So it's made time with him or him doing things productively really difficult. So in the past, we've tried many different sleep medications and he doesn't do well on them. For some reason, he will vomit a lot with them. And yes, the doctor's aware of it. We've tried different things. So we do have an appointment coming up and we will be addressing this again because my hope though is if we can get the anxiety down and bring the level of calmness down, then he'll feel like he can get to sleep, and stay asleep and then have a normal wake window cycle. But for those of you that aren't in this is common. This sleep-wake cycle disturbance is so common with dementia. And so as you can imagine, for the caregiver, it is very difficult to sleep because you're constantly keeping an eye on them. And then on top of that, I'm going through my own things that make it difficult to sleep. So it's just a combination. So it's like, oh my goodness, I'm a zombie. But I do have to say, for those of you that are so kind and ask, I feel like as a caregiver, I am doing really well. I feel like I have a great support group. I have support people. If you guys don't know this, if you don't follow over on A Charming Abode, you might not know this. Our daughter and son and 2 grandkids bought a house around the corner. So not only do I have that extra support, but as a caregiver, I feel like I really have started to figure out this role. Don't worry, he'll throw something at me and I'll be like, oh my goodness. But for the most part, I feel really well supported and I feel like I have the respite care and all the things in place that I need in order to be successful in this role for him. So we have an upcoming appointment and then we have different tests that we are going to do. And I'm very excited to do these tests. And we actually have this appointment coming up in just a couple days. I'm going to try and do an update sooner and go over the test results. So give us a couple weeks to get the test results back. And then I'm going to share with you what we found. I've talked a long time, but I really wanted to slow things down and explain all of these things that we're going through with Jason I do have to tell you guys, we still have his mood nice and stabilized on feeling like the old Jason. The fun, he can laugh, he can be silly. And so that's really nice. I know that we're constantly changing it and we're upping this and we're upping this. And I know it's going to continue. But when we get these windows where we get the mood stabilized, I can do anything. We can get this sleep under control. We can do, keep running around putting out his dumpster fires. But as long as his mood's happy, I'm okay with that. And one of the things you'll notice when Jason comes on to speak is, you don't know this, but behind the scenes, I'm prompting him to remind him what we're doing and not doing, but like what we're kind of talking about. And he'll get to where he starts kind of just going, yeah. And it's kind of like he doesn't know what to say. And that's totally, half the time, I don't know what to say. And then it's really cute. He's so hyper-focused on protecting me from the trolls online because in the past people were so mean and that he was more aware of it back then, but it must be stuck in his memory because every single time we do one of these videos now, he'll bring it up. So first of all, he's my little knight in shining armor and it's so sweet that that's what comes to his mind. So Anyway, let's get to Jason. Okay, so I just gave a little update kind of from like a caregiver point of view, and I thought it would be fun to kind of get it from, you're the one who's actually going through it, and you've done such a good job being able to communicate things that I think a lot of people can't communicate. So, yes. So tell me, what do you want to talk about first?
Well, from a high level, I think the further I slide, I don't realize what I'm doing or what's happening. So it becomes more on Leslie to moderate my, I don't even know how to say it.
Okay, do you want me to step in for a second? Okay,
Please.
I have noticed that Jason he used to be very aware of his behavior and the things that were going on, and he is pretty clueless now as to what he's doing and what's happening. And I don't mean this in like a bad way, but you just don't really care.
No. And for example, I had an issue with an organization who shall remain nameless, VA, and it frustrated me to no end.
I knew you would talk about this. Go ahead.
So I picked up the phone and called Derek Schmidt, the congressman, because I had his phone number. And first Leslie was like, no, you didn't. And then I showed her my phone, and she's like, I can't believe you called the congressman about your VA minuscule problem.
Okay, you did not show me your phone. I caught you on the phone.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're all the same. So if Jason's on the phone, very rarely. He talks to a couple friends that check on him, but Jason's not on the phone anymore. Doesn't really care to talk on the phone anymore. I see him on the phone and I'm like, oh boy, who is he talking to? What is happening? And yeah, this little baby thing, he just picks up the phone, decides to call the congressman and tell him about this problem. So these are the little things that you have got to keep an eye on, Jason, because he'll keep you on your toes because he's running around doing whatever he wants. Oh my goodness.
He listened very thoroughly.
What else has been going on with you that's been...
I still can't sleep. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but it just keeps getting worse. Oh, I'm tired. I will lay down, but I cannot fall asleep until between 2 and 4 in the morning every night. It's very frustrating. I listen to stuff like turn on some video that's on black screen so I can... And then I end up sleeping till noon. I've had days where I can't sleep all night long, and then the sun starts coming up, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I stay up, tonight I'll sleep. And that's not how it works. So it's very frustrating.
Right. And I was explaining to them that even your wake window is actually very tiny. And if you do get up and do something, you struggle, and then within a couple hours, you have to lay back down.
Yes.
So you're not sleeping, but you're sleeping.
Right.
So it's really hard to describe. I did tell him we upped your anxiety medication. And hopefully that'll help you to start to relax and calm down and that type of thing.
Yes.
Yes. And before anybody says anything, yes, we have tried different sleep medications, and we won't be doing that anymore right now. So
You can read between the lines on that. We will not be doing that anymore.
Other than that, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
And you've mentioned that you don't feel very aware of even what's going on, so you may not be able to answer this question. When you are sitting around and okay, how do I word this? Hold on. This is me thinking.
Exceptional anxiousness.
Well, I know you have exceptional anxiousness.
Yes.
But on a day-to-day basis, you have trouble executing things. And now I was talking about how you're having trouble, if you're doing one thing, understanding what I'm saying.
What?
That's exactly what you do.
What?
How do you know that's what you do?
Because you told me.
You do.
Yes.
And
I cannot delineate, I cannot handle even a slight input of something else if I'm doing something now. And it doesn't have to be something difficult. I could be putting the lid on a jar of jelly. And if you say something, can't handle it.
It's just like a fried brain in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you tell them about the KU whatever test they just gave me? And initially it was like, holy cow, this guy can like, and then I got to whatever, the results of that test.
Yes, I did tell him about that.
Okay.
And that you are in the less than 1%. Mm-hmm. But yet your language skills were like high.
You ever heard of the term, he's got a Harvard vocabulary?
They did say you had a Harvard vocabulary. But how does someone like me, when people are assuming you're fine, but yet I'm running around putting out your fires constantly, how does someone deal with that?
To be fair, and for those of you that have watched this for a while, I have not caught the kitchen on fire in a long time.
Because I'm watching you like a hawk.
Yeah. I have been leaving burners on.
Oh, yeah.
But what was the question? What'd you say?
How do I just not say anything when people are like, oh, Jason's doing so well? Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, he's not. He's actually been going.
It's not worth the effort to try and correct anybody. Not that it's just not worth it.
No, I don't want to correct anyone.
Yeah, or even the only time it really, I think, is a genuine worthwhile is when it's my close friends and they're not just asking, they'll feel like Jason's doing so well, can we take him for this? And I'll give an example. Can Jason go on a 10-day sailing cruise in the British Virgin Islands with the fellas? Because he speaks so well. And Jason's like, yes.
And Leslie's like, no. You have no idea. Jason will be like, oh yeah, I'll be fine. And then that would be really bad. So let's talk about this room.
My room?
So Jason's sunroom out here has turned into his room pretty much 24/7.
Literally.
I've lost him. He no longer eats with me. He no longer sleeps in the room in there. And I know it's because he's struggling with rest and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And so
I was going in when I felt tired, but again with the tossing and turning and I can't sleep for 2 hours, I ended up getting up and coming out here.
Right.
So
I also feel bad that you're constantly sleeping on a sofa and not in a bed.
I do feel bad as well. I wish I could. I need a solution. I don't know what we're going to do.
We're going to talk to we have an upcoming appointment and we are going to discuss this and we're going to see what else we can do. Mm-hmm. Because, I don't know, we need a different solution. So.
One that works.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it'll be trial and error and hopefully we can come up with something that doesn't get everything knocked out of whack. Mm-hmm. That's my thing.
Yes.
So.
Yes. We don't want it to be quick. But don't forget to go check out that MIDI Health link right below us because we appreciate them sponsoring this video. It helps.
Yeah, we actually do. Mm-hmm. It was so kind of them to do that for you. Mm-hmm. So kind. All right, well, we'll try not to go so long without an update. It does get overwhelming here. There is a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, and very short wake windows.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you want to tell them goodbye?
Please be kind in the comments. She's not taking advantage of me. What else do you get told?
I laugh too much.
You laugh too much. You smile too much. Mm-hmm. Be kind. Rewind. Thanks for watching.
Bye.